Imagine a wildebeest calf, born on the golden grass of the African savanna. Within 6 minutes, it's standing. Within 30 minutes, it's running for its life to keep up with the herd. Now, look at a human newborn. It can't walk. It can't even hold up its own heavy head. If it's left alone for even an hour, it simply won't survive. Why is the most successful apex predator on the planet born as the most useless creature in the animal kingdom?
It feels like a massive glitch in the matrix of evolution. We've conquered the globe, built skyscrapers, and sent people to the moon. Yet our starter kit is remarkably broken. Most animals are born ready to rock, or at least ready to crawl. But for humans, the software update for basic walking takes an entire year. For decades, we've assumed this was just a biological weakness, a mistake of nature that we had to overcome with big brains. But what if I told you that being born this weak is actually our greatest superpower? What if our total helplessness is the very thing that allowed us to rule the world?
To understand this, we have to look at the two ways nature builds a baby. Scientists call them precocial and altricial. Precocial animals, like horses and ducks, are the early ripeners. They come out of the womb or egg with their eyes open, their fur or feathers on, and their legs ready to move. Then there are the altricial species, the ones born to be fed. Think of kittens, puppies, or songbirds. They are born blind, naked, and totally dependent on their parents. Humans are technically in the altricial camp, but we take it to an extreme. We aren't just born dependent, we stay dependent for years, sometimes decades. Where other primates, like chimpanzees, are born with brains that are about 40 to 50% of their adult size, a human baby arrives with only 25% of its brain developed. We are, quite literally, born unfinished.
So, why didn't evolution just keep us in the oven longer? There's a classic theory for this called the Obstetrical Dilemma. It all started when our ancestors decided to stand up and walk on two legs. To walk upright efficiently, our pelvis had to get narrower and more compact. But at the same time, our brains were exploding in size. This created a biological car crash, a massive head trying to fit through a tiny, narrow birth canal. Evolution had to find a compromise. If we stayed in the womb until our brains were ready, our heads would be too big to ever get out. So nature decided to kick us out early. We are essentially born in a fourth trimester, finishing our development on the outside because the exit door is just too small.
But wait, there's another layer to this mystery. Some researchers think it's not just about the size of the pelvis. It's about energy. Growing a giant human brain inside a body is incredibly expensive. By 9 months, a mother's metabolism is working at its absolute limit, almost like a professional athlete running a marathon that never ends. The baby is demanding more energy than the mother's body can physically provide. At that point, the battery is empty, and the baby has to come out to find a more efficient way to get nutrients, like breastfeeding. To make this tight fit work, human babies have a fascinating trick. Their skulls aren't solid bone. They are made of separate plates with soft spots called fontanelles, allowing the head to actually compress and change shape during birth. Think about a newborn horse again. Within an hour, it's a miniature version of an adult. It has all the instincts it needs to be a horse. But here's the trade-off. Because it's so finished at birth, its brain doesn't have much room to change. It's hardwired. Now, look at the human. Because we are born unfinished, our brains are incredibly soft and malleable. We call this plasticity. We don't come pre-programmed with instincts. Instead, we come ready to absorb everything. While a baby spider just knows how to spin a web, A human baby spends its first few years just learning how to exist in its specific culture. We trade physical strength at birth for the ability to learn language, use tools, and understand complex social rules. We aren't born into a world we already know. We are born to learn any world we find ourselves in.
This brings us to the most mind-blowing part of the whole story. Scientists recently discovered something called the sensory motor gap. Human infants are unique because they have advanced precocial senses. Their eyes and ears are wide open and they are incredibly tuned in to their parents. But they have altricial bodies that can't move. This mismatch is a brilliant evolutionary move. Because the baby can't run away or fend for itself, it is forced to interact intensely with other humans. This helplessness isn't a bug, it's a feature designed to bind us together. It forces us to create deep, long-term relationships and social groups. We even evolved a strategy called alloparenting, where grandparents, friends, and even teachers help raise the child, something you rarely see in other great apes. This period of total dependency is actually the foundation of what makes us human. It's the root of our morality, our empathy, and our ability to cooperate. We are born weak so that we can become social. If we were born as strong as wildebeests, we might never have needed to talk to each other. We wouldn't have needed to build communities or share knowledge. We would be faster, sure, but we wouldn't be us. Our prolonged childhood is an evolutionary luxury that lets us outsource our survival to the group, while our brains focus on the most important task, learning how to be the most adaptable species on Earth.
So, the next time you see a human baby looking useless, remember that you're looking at a masterpiece of engineering. That helplessness is a long runway for the most complex computer in the known universe to boot up. We aren't born weak because evolution failed. We are born weak because we are the only species that decided to reinvent the wheel every single generation. We gave up the ability to run at birth so that we could eventually learn to fly. What do you think is the one human skill you're most glad you got to learn, rather than just being born with an instinct for it? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the mysteries of being human.